Hi, this is Robert Clinkybeard and David Anderson with the Commercial Landscapers Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners and provide you some value that you can take back to your business, your family, and your personal life and transform your life. We hope you really enjoy this. Cheers, everyone. Cool. Well, thank you, Bruce, for joining me this morning. I'm really excited that you could join me on the Commercial Landscapers Podcast. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's my pleasure, my honor. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Glad you could be here. So, just to kick us off a little bit, tell me a little bit about you and your background and how you got into the green industry.
Sure. So I was always an outdoor person, always spent time hiking and backpacking and working in the neighborhood. I did, like most people, mowed lawns growing up, and went and got a degree in landscape horticulture and design from North Carolina State, which I'm a big Wolfpack fan still, and started this business my junior year in college during the summers when I was home in Maryland.
Okay.
And decided that's where I wanted to go with it, and we've been around for 34 years now.
That's excellent.
It's been a nice journey.
And what do you enjoy most about the green industry?
I don't think it's necessarily has specifically to do with the green industry. I love creating landscapes and seeing them come to fruition. What I think I like the most is the relationships I have in the industry, both with my staff. We have great people here, and I enjoy being with them and watching them grow and helping them grow. And I have great friends in the industry, lifelong friends now, going back from very early. And then the special relationships we've developed with a lot of customers are very meaningful to me. So it's really the relationships.
That's great. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit deeper. Now, I come across a lot of companies, and they really seem to struggle with either the term that comes up the most is training, but it really is development of their employees, that they really struggle with that part. Now, it seems as though you've built a good relationship with your team. How do you develop? What's your best techniques for developing your team?
I think so we have employees going back 20, 22, 25 years in our company. Our average tenure rate's 16 years at this point. I think the most important thing to developing people is to build a relationship with them, a personal relationship, and kind of find out where they want to go and find out what their strengths are and what their concerns are. Rather than a formal training program, which we do have, it's building them up and pushing them to learn and to take on more. It's really great when you see somebody who takes that and steps up and goes way beyond what you ever thought they could, and probably what they thought they could as well. I think it just means a ton, and I know it means a lot to me, and I get just super proud of them. And what more can you ask?
Yeah, it's nice when you see somebody that, that's amazing how you've had some employees there for that long, but just seeing somebody that's come in, hate using the word green, but now into a full-fledged type managerial role, who's looking after employees and doing some great things for your company.
Well, yeah, we even just had a conversation this morning. We've identified 7 younger people in the company that we think have potential to be leaders, and now we're developing a program just for them to spur that growth and that development a little bit faster. And my production manager, Felipe, and I are working on ways that we can deliver more content to them faster and help them grow. And the first step is we're meeting with them individually and letting them know we see this path for them so we can get their buy-in. And it's a real exciting thing to be a part of.
Right. That's great. No, that's good. I almost call that, the term I use is building the bench, because you're identifying some of those real young future leaders.
Absolutely.
And then developing them. So talk to me about, what are some of the tools that first of all, how do you identify those people? Do you use any type of personality assessments? And then second part to that question is what resources do you pull from in laying out what that program looks like?
Sure. We don't use any profile methods for that. It's strictly observation and conversations, and talking with their crew leaders. Do you think this person has this potential? And what do you think we need to work on to get them there? A lot of this will be individual tailored. A lot of it will be institutionally tailored. So we're going back and looking at what our success profile looks like in that role, and then backtracking to what skills each person needs. Along the way, it's the opportunity to improve the standard operating procedures for those roles and train against those so that the expectations meet their ability, and it's fully understood by everybody, and we have total buy-in. So it's twofold. It's one, we're developing people, and two, we're improving processes and taking a hard look at them. Some of this will be slow, some of this will be fast. So we've been utilizing, we've been a member of Breakthrough Academy, BTA, out of Canada for about 7 months. And they've taught us how to revamp our SOPs and look at accountabilities and things like that. So that's been real instrumental. We have peer groups within that, and talking with those members, talking with my peers in National Association of Landscape Professionals. They've been great resources as well. And then on the technology side, we use LMN, Landscape Management Network, and that has streamlined some processes that are allowing us to do this. And then just normal things like Google Sheets and Google Calendars to help stay organized across all channels.
Right. Now, how often do you meet with those individuals? Is that annually? Is that once a quarter, or more frequently, just to sort of check in and see how they're progressing through that development?
Sure. So this is really just at the onset. I meet with my direct reports once a week for goal setting reviews, and we talk through things they're facing. I have 4 direct reports. With these people, with these candidates, we'll be meeting with them, I imagine, every 2 weeks and doing similar reviews. Some of that may follow me, but I think more of it will follow to Felipe as their supervisor. And then we'll meet as groups as well.
Okay, very cool. And before I move on from that, how do you pull? I mean, one of the biggest challenges I hear out there with different companies is trying to pull in employees, or especially new talent, into the company. Did you go out to colleges? Is it just through advertising, or do you just get a natural flow of people coming to your company since you're so successful?
We've tried advertising, but really the best way that we attract people is the folks that work here want to bring in their family and friends. I think they're proud of our company. I feel that through their tenure, we've done a good job of giving them a decent life and livelihood and time at home. I think that kind of balance is really important and appreciated. So when I announce that we have an opening, they tend to have people show up, sometimes more than we need. And sometimes
it's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, and sometimes at times when we don't need people. But that's a bench that we keep track of so we can call them back when we need them. I've been extremely fortunate and lucky in that regard.
Right. Yeah, it's just, as you say, it's nice to have that bench or that pipeline of people coming into the company, because, it helps with your growth, but also, if there's somebody maybe not quite doing so well in the company, at least you have maybe somebody in the wings to potentially replace that person.
Yeah, I think, I hate to say it this way, but if everyone knows that we can get people, it makes them value our company a little bit more as well.
Right. Yeah. Good point. And I suppose it keeps the existing employees on their toes as well.
A little bit. I'll admit that. We have
Never
a great
bad thing.
staff. We have a great staff, but we all need to be reminded that, we're only as good as our last performance in some cases.
That's true. Good point. So before we started the recording, Bruce, you talked about how well your company is doing. That you're booming out there. Obviously, there's I see all over the spectrum some companies doing really well. There's some companies really struggling that are down revenues 70-80%. In fact, one of my first speakers on the podcast series was somebody lost 100% of their revenue overnight, and it was just brutal how he just picked things up and pulled his team together. So just talk to me. And I think one of the things I realize is a lot of it's just to do with mindset. You can either listen to the news, you can hear the negativity out there, whether it be in the political scene or all the other platforms. But and talk to me about your mindset as you've gone through this year.
Sure. It's as you know, it's been a very interesting and in some cases challenging year. And I'll back it up a little bit. We purchased another company at the end of last year, and we purchased their property as well, which put us right in the heart of our market. It was a big purchase for us. And we entered 2020, with all the positivity in the world. And then March, COVID hit, of course, and a sinking feeling at first struck in, like, oh my goodness, what have we done? We're totally exposed and we don't know what tomorrow brings. But my staff really stepped it up and really committed to our company and our success. I committed to them as well. We did have to shut down for a week. We had somebody who came down with COVID, and thank goodness he's back at work doing fantastic. He'd already missed a week of work not feeling well, and then he got tested, and we decided to shut down for a week right in the middle of May, which, as you know, is very painful, but there was no other decision to make. It was very easy.
Right.
And I think that proved to everyone that we're committed to our people. We communicated real well to our customers, and things just took off like crazy from there on. We're up substantially in revenue and up even more substantially in profitability. We're booked out further than I think we've ever been booked at this time of the year.
Nice. That's great.
And it's all because everyone has stepped up and done their job and more extremely well. And I couldn't be prouder. I'm exhausted, but that's a good thing. I'll find time to rest later on, but I'll take that problem. And I think everybody here feels the same way.
Right.
But we've connected really well. We talk a lot. We get in a big circle and check in with each other and do a little bit of stretching and things like that to help relieve stress. And we've done a really good job, I feel. I'm very proud of it, of how we've communicated with our customers and prospects. And they've stood by us. They've been wonderful. So
that's great.
We're in an enviable position in the residential landscape market that people are staying home, not going on vacation, and looking around their yard and wanting to spend time in it. And I feel a little guilty that we benefited from it, but we have, and we should take advantage of that and make sure our company is still here for everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, on that point, it'd be just the fact that your reach between your employees, between their families, between the clients you serve. I mean, you're touching a lot of people out there, and I think one of the key points you made there is just that communication.
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect that probably your communication has increased over these tough times, just to check in with people. Is that how would you describe your communication methods and activity?
Sure. I mean, absolutely. Just taking a moment to talk with somebody as we walk through the yard or as they go from their car in the parking lot to the office. Those conversations are real important. Just saying, how are you doing? How's your family? Are your kids doing school remotely? How are they doing with it? Same conversations with customers, just taking the time. And I find when I talk to people on the phone, the ability to joke around with them a little bit and lighten the mood goes a long way. And I hope it helps. I know that it helps me. So I think it's full circle, 360.
No, that's good. That's awesome. One of the things we touched upon, and I think this is probably one of the many reasons why you're so successful in your business. You shared with me about other entrepreneurial journeys you're doing in the background, but you seem to be very disciplined. You use some good platforms there. We touched on. You've learned a lot about scaling up, which brings in that sort of the discipline and rhythms and strategy and vision. And talk to me about how that has really helped to not only grow your company, but just, importantly, you said earlier, is that profitability has increased.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm kind of a very focused person, and I'm good at prioritizing and compartmentalizing. As you know, I know that you're an Ironman athlete as well, and it takes a lot of discipline to train for that. And I think that it taught me how to, and I learned this in college a lot too, being a college athlete and a student and working. Just really, when I'm in the moment, I have to be in the moment and compartmentalizing and prioritizing my time, and just staying on a task until I can get it done. It doesn't always work, but using every moment I can. And I'm a very early riser. I go to bed very early too, but those morning hours, after I've done my run or my swim or whatever, are real important hours for me to get the day off to a good start. And it's really about focusing myself and focusing those around me on what's important. And there's a lot of things that are not important that we have to do on a daily basis, but most of them can wait until a different time. Wait too long, they become an important thing as well.
Right.
You have to circle back, but trying to prevent fires is better than putting them out.
No, I agree. And actually, I'm going to dive into that a little bit deeper. I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm big into sports and different types of challenges. And so talk to me about your morning routine, because, like you, I'm up super early, just trying to set myself up for success each and every day. So talk to me about your sort of typical morning routine that just sets you up for a good day ahead of you.
Sure. So most mornings I'm trying to be in the pool or on the run by 5 a.m. most days. It doesn't work out all the time.
Right.
I'm also a very bad sleeper. And that's just a time for me to get my brain started and think about what I need to hit first. And I try to do this at the end of the day also, is make my list for the morning and of what my priorities are. I'm big on Google Calendars and color coding and using OneNotes and putting the most important stuff at the top and sometimes the hardest stuff at the top.
Right.
So I use the morning to just clear my head and align myself. A quick breakfast, and then I try to get in here about 6:15. Crews don't get here till 7. Then it's my time to greet them and enjoy that time. Felipe gets them out, but I get to enjoy the relationships for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, the fact that you're still in there in the morning greeting the crews is great. I mean, I think I come across so many other people who will maybe stroll in about 8, 9 o'clock and all the crews are out and they don't have a great deal of dialogue with the crews. So that's great.
I mean, I've certainly gone through phases where that's been the case, and I find that I lose connection and I don't feel comfortable with it.
Right.
I don't know that it'll last forever, but right now it's really important to me.
Right. So it seems as though that balance between your fitness and your work and your communication with employees and clients is really important. Now, that must flow across into your personal family life, just having that good balance there. You shared with me about a business you've recently started up with one of your daughters. Yes.
Well, my family is the most important thing in the world to me. And I have 3 daughters, and of course my wife and I essentially grew up together, junior high and high school and adult life. and our relationships are the most vital thing in my life. So none of my daughters live here anymore. They're grown, but we probably talk every single day, which most people find kind of sick.
Right.
But it's important to us. And,
Yep.
I have different interests with each of them, which is a lot of fun. And as you just mentioned with my middle daughter, we started a business a couple of years ago called rightplants.com, which is a digital marketplace for our industry. And growing that with her and watching her develop as a business person has been a real joy. We get to talk about it a lot, and we each have our own roles, so we can work parallel and take care of our jobs. She has a full-time job as well, so that takes most of her time. And my wife and our other daughters have, peeked in on that business and helped us out at times. And it's just one more connection and one more way to be centered around our family.
Great.
So that's been a lot of fun. And they're also runners and swimmers, and we do lots of crazy workouts together when they're around, and we just have a great time.
That's great. That sounds like I've got a great relationship all around.
Yeah.
Where do you see that business going in the future? What's your vision for that?
So Right Plants, I think, our industry lacks a marketplace to put profiles of companies to help companies grow. There's House, but that's really for landscape contractors and designers and architects. Right Plants expands not just landscapers and designers, but also lawn care and tree care and irrigation companies, garden centers, even down to some supplier levels. And we see it as the one place where all of these companies, large and small, that serve residential customers, can get the word out about themselves, put their pictures on a profile, pictures of their work, pictures of their people. We always encourage that. And I forget how many landscape contractors there are in this country, 20, 40,000, something like that. There's no one platform that brings them all together. We don't sell leads. We're selling space. There's also a free option. I just think it's going to grow exponentially. We've got a lot of support from the industry and from movers and shakers of the industry. And I don't think it has any bounds. It's just a matter of us getting it there. And I invite anybody who's listening, if they want to put their company on there, there's a free way to do that. And if you want to get more exposure, you go to one of the premium models. It's a freemium model website. And we've grown exponentially. We have 500 vendors on there now, contractors of different sorts, in just about every state. So real proud of the work we've done. So far to go.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I wish you all the success with that.
Thank you very much.
So as we finish up here, Bruce, we have some smaller industry owners. We have some people considering getting into the business. We have some people out there who are struggling for whatever reasons. What would be your, 2 or 3 points you'd like to just share with them as they, finish up crazy 2020 going into 2021, and what would be your biggest takeaways for those people?
And we've all been there. So I think that the 3 best pieces of advice I can get is get a mentor, whether it's somebody in the industry who's further up the ladder or further up the mountain, or somebody in another industry. I've been real blessed with lots of great mentors in my life who've shown me the way and given me great advice and told me when I'm wrong, which is always appreciated. Mm-hmm. The second one would be to join NALP, the National Association of Landscape Professionals. There's so many resources there and so many people willing to help. It's a very welcoming organization, and it's made a huge difference in my company. And frankly, that's where I've met some of the most valuable friendships I have in my life. And thirdly, start developing those processes and getting them down on paper. I truly believe we need to take it out of our head and put it on paper so somebody else can do it. It's not a matter of who, it's not a matter of what, it's a matter of who. If you can hand off you can free up your time to work on the next issue.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Bruce. If people want to get hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
There's two ways: Bruce A at AllentuckLandscaping.com or Bruce A at WrightPlants.com. And Right Plants is spelled RIGHTPLANTZ.com.
Okay. Cool.
Either way.
Cool. Thank you very much, Bruce. I really appreciate your time today, and I shall look forward to talking to you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Hopefully that was pure dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or your personal life. This is Robert Clinkybeard along with David Anderson, and we'd love to get you and your friends to join us in our future journey. So please subscribe through our website, commerciallandscapers.com, or through the various podcast channels out there. But anyway, hopefully you have an awesome day. Cheers.